and the countdown clock. Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics. Welcome back to the channel. Joining me tonight is Hold the Ball, and we're going to go through our NRL 2022 Dally M Team of the Year, players position by position in each category, and we're going to give our thoughts on that as well. And we're also going to discuss later on in the show afterwards. We're going to review and recap the NRL Finals from week 3, 2 games. Parramatta Eels played the Cowboys in Townsville, and the South Sydney Rabbitohs took on the Penrith Panthers down there at a course stadium in Sydney. But, joining me is Hold the Ball. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you on again.
Yeah, look, thanks again for having me, man. I appreciate it very much. I'm looking forward to unfolding and unpacking our choices tonight, and I'm sure it'll be a good fun show. And again, welcome everyone, and again, thank you, Fanatics. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, no worries. So I see I'll just pop into the live chat, check who's in here. So Jack O'Hara's saying here, the Twins have swapped sides. Are you trying to confuse us? Good to see you, Jack O'Hara. Good to see you again on the live chat there. But let's why don't we get into it now? So we're going to go through our NRL Dally M Team of the Year for this year. So first things first, I'll let Hold the Ball take away for this one in terms of his team. So starting off at fullback first.
Yeah, look, I guess we're going to go position by position. I guess for mine, I have, and this might be a bit controversial, but I've got Dylan Edwards. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good selection. I mean, there's quite a few players that you can put in there, like James Tedesco. Dylan Edwards has had a good year. I think it's between those two between these two players. Sorry. For me, I probably have Dylan Edwards at fullback as well, actually, and it might be a bit of a controversial choice, but I think Dylan Edwards has had a great year. He's very underrated. He's a very underrated player, and he's had a good season for Penrith. But yeah, well, what's your thoughts on Dylan Edwards in this season?
Yeah, look, the reason why I go for Dylan Edwards is, like in comparison to your Tom Trbojeviches, your Tedescos, and the like. I mean, hey, heck, even put your Reece Walshes in there, I suppose. But he just, what do you call it? He's not necessarily a pretty player per se, right? But he's just so consistent. He does the small things right. He's always there. I mean, look, we're going to touch on it as well. But you look at his game against the Rabbitohs, and oh boy, there's a reason why he is just such a good player. Very unfortunate, though, to be behind the likes of Tedesco and Tom Trbojevic and co when it comes to Origin, to be fair with you, I think. But I just think you can't go wrong with him. And he's proved year and year again, to be fair with you, I think for a while he's been one of the best, if not the best fullback. And this year especially, nonetheless, for mine, yeah.
Yeah, and also he won the Player of the Year for the Penrith Panthers as well. He picked up the Player of the Year award there. So, look, both Dylan Edwards, James Tedesco have both had cases, to be in my Team of the Year and in your Team of the Year probably. So, but we've both gone with Dylan Edwards. We both agree that Dylan Edwards has had a very good season and a very underrated player as well. And I think with the Dally M's coming up on Wednesday night, I think he'll be well in contention as well for the official Dally M of the year and probably the fullback of the year as well. So, yeah, Dylan Edwards has had a great season for Penrith, and he's been great overall this year. So moving on to the next position-wise, it is the wingers. So wingers of the year. Look, I'm going with Alex Johnston. Who have you gone with?
I mean, look, I can't disagree there. I mean, well, for mine, I'm going to go Alex Johnston as well. I don't think there should be any debate as to who's on that side of the wing there. Alex Johnston.
Yeah, I think Alex Johnston's had a great season. Obviously, he's topped the try scorers list again this year. Probably a player that doesn't get enough reps because, he's very underrated and people always talk about the highly fancied wingers more so, but I think Alex Johnston, he deserves a lot of recognition this year, and he should be in a rep side one day. I don't know why he doesn't get picked for Australia or a New South Wales selection for me. I mean, I know he's played for PNG, but anything else you'd like to add on with Alex Johnston?
Yeah, look. Obviously, he's in contention. If you put his career into context, to actually beat who was it? Is it Ken Irvine? Is that the greatest try? The amount of tries in our history. He's going to be there, and I think add some to it. But you sort of touched on it as well, and I think that's probably one of his issues. Unfortunately, when it comes to not being picked, is he's a clean finisher, absolutely. But I don't know, for some reason, compared to the other ones, he just doesn't. I don't know. The likes of the ball, for example. I don't know why he doesn't get selected over him. I'm not too sure, but look, I think nonetheless he's been a good winger this year. He deserves to be selected for Australia. I think so anyway. He deserves to be selected if he was. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. Yeah, he's had a brilliant season for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. He's been great this year. So the next position it is centre of the year. Look, I'm actually gone with two centres, actually. I'm going to go with two centres. I'm going to go with Joseph Manu, and I'm going to go with Val Holmes. I think Val Holmes has been great this year. But who are you going with hold the ball?
Look, the reality is, look, I can't look beyond that. Personally, myself, I had the same thing there. Val Holmes and Joey Manu, obviously, two sensational players for their respective teams. I don't know what else to say. I don't think anyone comes close for mine personally.
Yeah, both of them have been great this year. We've seen Joseph Manu in a few positions as well. We've seen him play a bit of halves as well. I think we've seen him play a bit of fullback also as well. But But for me, obviously, Joseph Manu, I think he's been best in the centres position. And Val Holmes, look, he has had a great year this year. He's really turned it around. Had a good season for the Cowboys, and no doubt, I think he should be in the team of the year. But anything more you like to add on those two players?
No, not really. I think the reality is, in my opinion, anyway, in terms of centre position, they've been head and shoulders above the rest. I think both those players have I suppose, made their mark, whether it be rep footy or in the NRL. There's not much to add to that. They've been good, too good, actually.
Yeah, and now we come to the hooker of the year. So for me, I've gone with Apisai Coruscant. What about you?
Yeah, look. For me personally, look, I mean, in terms of stats, you probably can't go past Apisai Coruscant. I think he probably is the benchmark there. But another player I was personally impressed with as well. I didn't mind a bit of Harry Grant as well. I think, especially if he put his own form into context as well. To be fair with you, I thought he was actually quite good for the Storm. They had a good pairing there with Brandon Smith at one stage, but obviously beat him eventually to secure that starting spot. Yeah, Harry Grant or Coruscant for mine. Yeah, bit of a toss up between the two.
Yeah, no worries. But I think both of those players have had pretty good seasons. Harry Grant, I think, has had a great season for the Melbourne Storm as well, and he is pretty consistent. He's a pretty consistent player, but both no doubt deserve mentions in the team of the year. So the next one is 5/8 of the year. Now, who are you going with this one? It's difficult.
It's difficult. It is. I reckon Shanaris Tavita Natrix. Look, I think for mine, probably, in all seriousness though, I think Cam Munster for mine. Cam Munster, yep. he dominator, man. He's brilliant.
Yeah, look, I think Cameron Munster's been great, no doubt about it. I think he's, always that consistent player that always steps up when needs to. This is tough actually. I'm going to go with Nico Hines here. I think I'm going to go with Nicholas Hines on the Sharks.
Did he stay 5'8" or halfback?
5'8".
Yeah, I think Nico Hines played halfback. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He
and
did.
Moylan played 5'8". Yeah.
Yeah, Morrow played 5'8". Sorry, no, I'm going to have to go with Cameron Munster. Yeah, sorry, my mistake, guys.
All good, bro.
My mistake, everyone. But yeah, Cameron Munster, 5'8" for me of the year, as you, Cameron Munster as well. But anything you'd like to add on to that one?
No, not really. I mean, look, there's been some other good players too. I mean, I'd say Tom Dearden, sorry, came quite close to be fair with you. I thought he had a sensational. So again, unlucky to miss out. But for me, I'm just gonna have to go with Cam Munster because when push came to shove, and again throwing the Origin context into it as well, he stood up well, right? So Cam Munster for me.
Yep, yeah, and I think also another player which has had a good season has been Hunt as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, bro.
Yeah. Point. So on to halfback of the year now. So who are you going with this one?
All right. Goodness. I think there's been a few players who've stood out for different reasons, you know. But I can't go past Nathan Cleary. I can't go past Nathan Cleary for me.
Yep.
Again, just another. I mean, sure, the 5-week suspension, may have hit a bit heavy, but before that and after that, well, it's as if he hasn't missed a beat. Jerome Hughes, I think for mine comes in at a close second, potentially between him and DCE, but for me, Nathan Cleary.
Yep. No, I can't disagree with that one. I've gone with Nathan Cleary as well. I mean, another good season by Nathan Cleary, and he's had a few games where he's been suspended as well, but since coming back, obviously with Penrith, they've been looking a lot better. The first week of the finals, Nathan Cleary was the man of the match for me. I mean, he's had a good season, so yeah, you can't argue with Nathan Cleary on that one. But the next position was prop of the year. So who you got for the prop of the year?
I don't know. That's a tough one. That really is a tough one. Look. As tough as it is, I think you can't look further than the current finalists, right? Like Panthers have it, and I think for mine, the prop of the year has to be James Fisher-Harris. That's just what I think. I think that dude has been sensational again on a week-to-week basis. Hard, gritty. Sure, a few injuries in between this year, but I mean, every time he's come back, he's just been such a dangerous threat for the Penrith Panthers. I don't know who else to look to, man. So James Fisher-Harris for mine.
Yeah, I'll probably have to agree with you on that one. I've got James Fisher-Harris for the prop of the year. I think, yeah, yet again, very consistent player, very solid, and looking forward to him in the Kiwi jersey for the World Cup. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. But on to the second row of the year now. Who you got in this position?
Oh goodness me, there's such a flood of depth in this position in the NRL. Honestly,
yep.
Even some of your lower ranked teams still have a few good second rowers, right? Is that deep and that good? Look. For mine, far out. Yeah, look. For me personally, I think second rowers you can't go past. I thought, actually, no. I don't know. I think it's a bit hard for mine. Did you have one? And I'll come back to you.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go with Viliami Kikau. Yeah, yep. I'm going to go with him, actually.
Yep. Yeah, look, for mine, I personally wouldn't say that wasn't mine. I don't know. I just didn't mind Angus Crichton, to be fair with you. I thought he had a good season this year for the Roosters. I was a big fan of his, and for me, he was my second row of the year, personally.
Yep. All right. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad shout, that one, actually. But the last position is lock of the year. Now, who are you going with this one?
Oh, goodness. Look, I don't know. The obvious candidate has to be Isaiah Yeo. I think that's the reality. But I've always got a soft spot for Jason Tamaroro, so I'm probably going to have to throw the rule book out and say JT for mine, so stuff it. Jason Morrow, I thought this year as well, he showed himself. He was a lot better this year than he was last year for the Cowboys. Again, a big reason why they were actually that deep into the finals. And, as we'll touch on as well, that loss against the Eels, he was quite emotional. Again, somebody who obviously cares about, the progress of the team and all that stuff. But for mine, personally, I wanted to go with JT.
Yep, I am going to go... Oh, I'll go with Zayo. Yeah, I'll go with Zayo for me. Yeah, I think he's just been, a good leader and good player this year. He's been good for a while now. Yeah, so the next categories now is the NRL Coach of the Year. So I've gone with Todd Payton. Now, there's quite a few other coaches in the mix. I'll give them a shout as well. So we've got Craig Fitzgibbon on the Sharks there. We've also got Ivan Cleary from Penrith. And there's quite a few others. Just trying to think. So we've got a few others. Just trying to think.
Demetrius.
Jason Demetriou.
Jason
Demetriou is another one to Zach, but yeah, I think he's had a good year too. Jason Demetriou's first year with the Bunnies, taking them to a preliminary final. But I've gone with Todd Payton. What about you? Who are you going with?
Oh, look, all those names are nice, bro, but we all know nobody came close to Nathan Brown. So, look, no, I think it's hard to argue there. I can't go past Todd Payton bringing a Cowboys team that was basically second to last year to top four, coming in third, very deep in the finals. Obviously a controversial call, probably the only reason why they're not in the grand final. But just and the way he was after they lost, such poise, such character, brilliance, humbleness, gratitude, understanding, all that stuff there. Can't go past top end. But in saying that though, Nathan Brown second place for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't think Nathan Brown comes near anyway. So if you're putting in a worst coach of the year, you might as well put in that category. Sorry, yeah. But so the next category is the rookie of the year. Look, I've gone with Jeremiah Nanai. I think you've probably got a different opinion on it. So who's your rookie of the year?
Yeah, that's right. I do. I know we spoke before this started. It was either toss up for mine anyway between Nanai or Lachlan Ilias. I think the only reason why I say Lachlan Ilias, we all know how significant Nanai has been for the Cowboys this year. Arguably one of the rookie of the year, most likely. But for mine, Lachlan Ilias being thrown into such a squad there with no Reynolds, a great unknown, a team that was supposed, people arguing and said they'll probably miss out the 8. He grew a lot in that little season that he had this year. I think for mine, he's definitely got a big and bright future. But again, just to be thrown into the deep end with the Rabbitohs there, having to work in that spine, it's a hard position, right? And I think he held it with very good steed for mine. And that's why I have Lachlan Ilias, in my personal opinion anyway, is rookie of the year.
Yeah, so for me, Jeremiah Nano, look, I can't argue how good of a season he's had with the Cowboys. He's been up there in terms of tries scored as well. He's scored quite a few tries for the Cowboys this year. So probably, a very good season for Jeremiah Nanai. And Lachlan Ilias, I wouldn't say that's a bad shout as well for yourself there. But, for me, it's probably Jeremiah Nanai in terms of the rookie of the year. But anything more you like to add on to the Dally M team of the year?
Oh, look, obviously it's all subjective. To be fair with you, I think Isaiah Papali'i probably should have got a shout out as well in that second row. He's been just as consistent this season as he was last season, to be fair with you. And this time, obviously, going into the big dance, this time a credit to who he has been as a player, who he is as a player. But overall, though, happy with both selections. Again, you can't really argue with some of them. Some of them are pretty bang on, to be fair with you. But yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm looking forward to seeing who wins Rookie of the Year. Since seriously, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so the Dally M awards are on Wednesday night, which will be great. I'm looking forward to it. I will I might even do I've actually got a live stream set up for that, so I might do a bit of a reaction whilst watching the awards on the Wednesday night, which should be good actually. I'm looking forward to it. But that's enough of the NRL Dally Team of the Year awards now. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna wrap up the NRL Finals for week 3, last week's game. So we had the first game, which was the North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Parramatta Eels down there in Townsville on last Friday night. So, what are your thoughts on the game? What were your thoughts on the game as a whole?
All right, simple as this. In the first 10 minutes, to be fair with you, when Cowboys played, I thought they were going to win the game. That's literally it. They were on fire. Offensively, they were making so much meter, so much ground. Overall, the game was a tough, physical slugfest. You know what I mean? You know, when two guys are just brawling, that's what it looked like. There was no give from each. Obviously, I'm gonna have to bring up the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room being the forward pass that was now announced by Graham Ansley that it was a wrong decision by the ref, the touchy. But unfortunately, it is what it is. And I suppose if I'm allowed to later on, I will elaborate more on my thoughts on that, decision and why I think obviously a crucial one at that. But at the same time as well, let's be honest, it's not like the Cowboys didn't have their chances. They did have their chances too at the same time. But anyway.
Yeah, just popping into the live chat here and say hello to good old mate, brother CJ Moxley. Hope you're doing well. Apologies about the loss on the weekend. I think it was a tough one to take, but good to see CJ Moxley in the live chat there. But I'll just go through the try scorers for the Cowboys Parramatta Eels. So it's been played at QCB Stadium. 25,372 was the crowd attendance. Great crowd there at Townsville there. Actually, good to see a bit of vibe down there in Townsville for a big game. Tries to Reuben Cotter, Luciano Leilua, Murray Talangi from the Cowboys, and Will Palacini and Regan Campbell-Gillard with 2 tries, actually, a double. Yeah, a double. Mm-hmm. And Marca Sivo there, and the scoreline was 24-20 Parramatta Eels getting the win there. And the conversions, Val Holmes with 2 from 3, Mitchell Moses with 4 from 4, and penalty goals 2 from 2, Val Holmes. So, yeah, look, I thought that the Cowboys, I actually tipped the Cowboys going into this game. Look, they were behind actually for a bit of that game actually, and then the Parramatta Eels, they did pretty well, and then the Cowboys going into half time, I think locking up the scores at 12-all. I was thinking that I don't know how Parramatta would feel about that, considering they thought they had the Cowboys under pressure, and you're going into that second half. I just had fears that Parramatta may drop off here. I was thinking the week off may prove pivotal and might give the Cowboys that bit of energy and added spice there. But Parramatta, to their credit, Regan Campbell-Gillard scoring a double, which I thought was pretty soft defence by the North Queensland Cowboys there. You can also argue, yes, that forward pass at the start of the game, which for me was a forward pass at the end of the day, but were they robbed by that call? Absolutely not. I think the Cowboys had an 8-point lead at some stage of this game, and I think they had opportunities and they blew it in this. They blew it. They actually blew it. So Parramatta, look, good win for them. They played very well, and they go through their first grand final since 2009 there. But who was your man of the match in this game? Who was the standout player for you?
Yeah, look, if I can just quickly elaborate on what you touched on as well. Yeah, look, obviously we all know the Cowboys, and I have no feelings of attachment to either team, so I speak of this as a neutral. Look, we all know that the controversial forward pass try, was it forward pass? Yes, it was, absolutely. Did it cost the game? In my honest opinion, no, it didn't. You touched on it before. The reason why is, the Cowboys were up 8 points, right? 8 points at one stage, 8 points. That's basically 2 tries, if you want to get technical there, right? And also Regan Campbell-Gillard going over and scoring 2 tries, 2 soft tries, in that hearty, gritty Cowboys defense we know is very strong. and for Regan Campbell-Gillard to walk over twice virtually. I mean, come on, like I get where the Cowboys come from. I get it. But in saying that, at the same time as well, I mean, look, if the Cowboys, I don't know, say for example the Eels don't get it, it's 20-all. Who's to say by the time home gets the kick anyway? Like there's just so many different various outcomes that we don't know of. The reality is, at the end of the day, the Cowboys had their chances. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite pull it off. In the end, the Eels were just a better team, and they won. Albeit controversial, but they won. It is what it is. Better luck next time, I suppose, really. Now, as for my player of the... I think for mine, I thought Sean Lane. Sean Lane was superb. He had a very good game, actually, as a second rower there.
Yep.
Yeah. Yours?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Yeah, it's on the screen right there. My man of the match, Sean Lane. His stats here, which I'll read. So it's 13 all runs, 135 all running meters, 59 post-contact meters, 5 tackle breaks, and 4 offloads there. So, yeah, I thought he was a standout for me, and I think he was a man of the match for sure. I think he's just, I think he's very underrated. I think he's having a good season for Parramatta, and, he's really stood out in this game. And a big game, which Parramatta, wanted to break a drought and go through their first grand final since 2009, which is a great effort by them to get to the grand final. But yeah, look, anything you'd like to add on to that about that game before we move on to the next game?
No, apart from the fact, I'll just quickly, Cowboys shouldn't have lost it. I think that's probably the best way to sum it. They shouldn't have, and they did. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. But moving on to the next game now. This game was on the Saturday night, the 24th of September. Sees the Penrith Panthers taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs at Accor Stadium in Sydney. Tries to episode Coruscant for the Penrith Panthers and Brian To'o and Spencer Lenu and Isaac Dago and Nathan Cleary. For the Rabbitohs, you've got Cody Walker and Richie Kennard with 2 tries. 2 tries. 1 try to Cody Walker, 1 try to Richie Kennard. Conversions, 5 from 5 from Nathan Cleary and Latrell Mitchell, 2 from 2 there. Hold the ball. What was your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, look, I suppose one name, Latrell Mitchell, right? There was a lot of, I wouldn't say hype, but definitely a lot of talk around, surrounding Latrell Mitchell and what he was going to do, what he can't do, blah, blah, blah. Some people even saying this is the game here where he can sort of redeem himself, right? The grand final replay, if you will, with Latrell this time in the squad. My overall thoughts on the game, though, however, the reality was that I think Penrith Panthers, the Panthers in the first half were just trying to settle things, right? They were just trying to get the wheels in motion, again, trying to feel the game out. Whereas I think for mine, the Rabbitohs, I don't know what happened. They were very good in the first 20 minutes, I think, of the half there, and then things just sort of started to fall a bit sideways for him. And again, the only reason why I bring up Latrell Mitchell's name was because he was the big talk, right? And so again, with that in mind, I don't know. I mean, the best way to sum it is, I think that the Penrith Panthers basically, they worked out the Rabbitohs, I think, unfortunately, in the end of the first half, and then by the second half, it was all she wrote. Yeah, it was all she wrote. Once Spencer Leniu scored that try in the 44th minute, I thought for myself, all right,
yep,
this is it. Like this is it. This is probably going to be the downfall, and obviously, again, done. No, that's the best way to say it, man. Panthers were just too good at the end, and their class shone through. Whereas the Rabbitohs, unfortunately, left asking questions. Just quickly as well, that Brian To'o try, how good was that? How good was that try?
Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. It was absolute class from Brian To'o there. But look, in terms of this game and what I thought was I thought the South Sydney Rabbitohs had the Penrith Panthers frustrated in the first couple of minutes, first 20 minutes of the game.
They did.
I think the Penrith Panthers going with Mitch Kenny starting over episode Coruscant was a bit of a weird one for me. It was a bit of a strange selection. That may have been tactical. I don't know what that was about, but I would always start with episode Coruscant over Mitch Kenny for me. And I'm sure many Penrith Panthers will probably say the same thing. They'll say that they'd rather see Coruscant start. I mean, Kenny's a pretty decent player, but I think, Coruscant, you got to have your best player staying in that hooker position. So, Yeah, look, the Panthers look very flat. I think the attack looked very very off early on. South Sydney, really frustrated them. And then once, the Rabbitohs had that 12-0 lead, I'm thinking, could Penrith bow out here? And I know it might be ridiculous to say that because Penrith, you never write them off. But I think they look very frustrated. They just look frustrated. They didn't know what to do. And once Episode Coruscant came on, and he scored that try before half time, I'm thinking, right, that is what's going to make Penrith get back in this game. That bit of momentum swing right there. And that momentum swing really proved pivotal, actually. And then you go into half time. Panthers back in the game. Second half. Once I tweeted out that Penrith, if you let Penrith score first, I think Penrith will definitely go on with it. I think South Sydney had to score, and they didn't. And Penrith got that try right after half time. And from there on, I didn't see them being troubled. I mean, I really didn't. I think that was it. I think they were going to go on with it, and they did. They went on with the game, and then they won. The scoreline was 32-12 was the final score. So it was a very convincing scoreline in the end for the Penrith Panthers. Sorry, so they were far too good in the end there. So, look, is there anything you'd like to add on to that one before we go into the man of the match?
Absolutely, of course. Look, I touched on Latrell Mitchell. For mine, I ended up sort of defending Latrell Mitchell as well afterwards. Regardless of your thoughts on him, I will say though that I think Latrell Mitchell should have been in a game like that. He should have been more active. I think I would have transitioned him straight to center. Sometimes in some of those games there, when he's not involved, the Rabbitohs definitely feel it, and I think they needed more of Latrell Mitchell, to be fair with you. And I don't know why. I don't know what the coach's game plan was surrounding Latrell Mitchell, but I just feel like for mine, he should have been in the game more. I just for a game like this, I just thought he was too distant, and for a superstar like him, it was just, you know what I mean? Like again, I don't know what on earth went there. I don't know what happened, but for Latrell Mitchell to not really be in the game there, especially in the second half, quite disappointing, to be fair with you. And I don't know whether it was him or the coach. I don't know where the disconnect was, but I just think he should have been more involved, a lot more, because he could have helped things. What are your thoughts on that, just quickly?
On Latrell Mitchell?
Yeah. Could he have or should he have been more involved, particularly in the second half?
Yeah, I think not blaming him. I'm not blaming him for the result at all. But I think he could be a little bit more involved. I'm not going to lie here. I think I think Latrell Mitchell had a good first couple of weeks of finals, but I think this game in particular, I think Penrith did, really well to nullify him, make sure he had a quiet game as well. So got to give credit for them for that also. So, yeah, I think he could have been a bit more involved, particularly in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, now on to the man of the match. So, who was the player that stood out for you in this game? I'm probably going to say Dylan Edwards. What about you?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Dylan Edwards. I mean, he was a freak in that game, wasn't he? All over the park, defensively, offensively, sensational player. Had a good game. Yeah.
So Dylan Edwards, look at his stats here, outstanding stats. So 26 all runs, 287 all running meters, 70 post contact meters, 14 tackle breaks, 1 line break assist, and 1 offload there. So, boy, that is outstanding from Dylan Edwards. What can you say? He's just a player that, does get talked about a lot. He goes under the radar quite a lot in terms of players. There's always people that talk about your James Tedesco's and the likes and your Kalen Pongers. But Dylan Edwards, he gets through a lot of work in his game, and he's a player that never disappoints. So, I think, looking at their stats, what do you think around Dylan Edwards?
Oh, well, look, deservedly so. Most likely going to be the Dally fullback of the year. another terrific, sensational game. Unfortunately, because he's not pretty enough in terms of play, he's always going to go under the radar, always will, especially when you've got the other fullbacks you mentioned around him. But look, in saying that, he doesn't care. He just gets the dirty job done, the dirty work done. Does it on a continuous basis. Very effective.
Yep, yeah, he's just one of those players that you can rely on to do the job on the field and not disappoint. He's a player that doesn't make many mistakes, hardly any at all. And if you look at those stats, boy, it's just outstanding from Dylan Edwards. He's one of those players that always does the work on the field. But Jack O'Hara's saying here, geez, Edwards' stats are unreal for semi-final. Absolutely, they are for sure. Yeah, definitely. But so that's pretty much the NRL Finals wrap there for week 3 for both of those games. Anything else you'd like to add on? Hold the ball.
Yeah, look, I think I might as well just go back to the Rabbitohs game quickly.
Just no worries.
Even the halves as well. If you look at the halves, Cleary, Luai, and then you compare that to obviously Walker and Lachlan Ilias. And again, I'm not going to bring out the inexperience of Ilias because, to be fair, he's been quite inexperienced. That's not his fault. He's rookie. But I just thought for mine there, even Cody Walker as well, unfortunately. Obviously, when push came to shove, to be fair with you, he didn't take the pressure too well, obviously, again, resorting to the unfortunate continual niggles as well that's become part of his game, to be fair with you. And usually when he starts niggling, that's unfortunate because, things aren't going well with the Rabbitohs. And to be fair with you, that's exactly what happened. But, yeah, I just think for mine, from the spine as a whole, it was just I expected more from the Rabbitohs, to be fair with you. But, yeah, like we touched on as well, the Panthers, once they got clicking, that was it, and their class definitely shone through. But at the same time as well, they're just showing us why they've been the best team in the last 3 years, debatable, but you know what I mean? Come on, this is going to be the 3rd grand final in 3 years, man. Like, come on. You know what I mean? With a very high chance of going back to back. And then potentially next year as well, potentially going back to back to back. Like, they're that bloody good. You can't write them off. What do you do?
Yeah, so just quickly, if you had an early prediction for the grand final, I know it's only early and we're into we're Monday evening now. We're going to the grand finals on Sunday. Right now, who do you think should be the favourite? Who would you favour to win the game on Sunday?
It's so funny, because normally if it was Penrith versus any other team, I'll be siding with Penrith.
Yep.
But I just think for some reason the Eels are their kryptonite. There's just something about these dirty, slippery, slimy Eels that just have it over the Penrith Panthers. And if you don't believe me, look at the stats. So honestly, from my point of view, who am I leaning towards? I'm legit going for the Eels, bro. Look, in saying that though, that's only based on those stats. Penrith Panthers are a better team though. But just based on those stats alone, if you're a Panthers fan, you got to be a little bit worried. Surely you got to be a little bit worried.
Yeah, if you look at this year, you can see that Parramatta have had the wood over Penrith, and I'm sure Penrith fans, were probably hoping that they weren't going to take on Parramatta in the grand final. They're hoping for someone else. So, I mean, I'm sure Penrith fans will no doubt be confident, but they'll also be nervous knowing that this Parramatta side have come very close to beating them a couple of times, and they actually have beaten them twice this year. And although that it is a regular season game, and yes, it doesn't mean really a lot, to be honest. I mean, finals is a different game in a new place, but it's still, it's still in your mind that the Parramatta Eels have already beaten them twice this year. So, personally, for me, I mean, right now I'm favouring Penrith. I think it'd be a close game. I think it'd be very tight. I
hope so.
I'm not going to give away a prediction right now because I'll probably do a prediction video, tip video. But right now, I think Penrith at the moment should be favoured. If you look at the experienced players they've got, the players that have been there, done it before. Nathan Cleary's done it last year, made a grand final, won it. Brian To'o, Stephen Crichton, Viliami Kikau, they've all been in grand finals. Parramatta have got players that have not played in a grand final before. That's my worry for Parramatta, is the experience. And look, in the finals, it hasn't really mattered for them at the moment. But look, right now, if you're looking at, I think Penrith, they've been there, done it. They've also done the long week before. The lead up, the build up. There's so much that comes with grand final week, not just the game on Sunday, but the whole week in general. You've got the media, you've got the grand final. You've got the all sorts, the Dally M's to contend with. You've got all those, fan meetups and all that, all those days, But I think Penrith, right now, for me, I think they go in as favourites, but only slight favourites. I wouldn't write Parramatta off at all. I think they're definitely a chance to beat Penrith on the Sunday. But, yeah, look, if you look at it right now, I think Penrith, for me at the moment, but that's just my general feeling around it at the moment. But it can all change. It can all change because Sunday's a while away.
Yeah, look, and to add on to that as well, just quickly for those of you who don't know, with the Parramatta Eels, the last premiership they won was in 1986. So, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of hungry Eels players there, fans there who are wanting to seek a bit of vengeance, especially when you look at the 2009 grand final, which unfortunately came to nothing because the Storm were obviously done for cheating. But 1986 was the last time they won, right? A lot of things have happened between, between 86 to now 2022. It's, that chance, though, to win. It's right there. It's right there. Just 80 minutes.
Yeah, they haven't won a premiership in a very long time. So This is a real huge chance for Parramatta. It's a massive opportunity. And look, I think if they don't win it this year, I think personally, I think this. Next year they're losing a lot of players. I don't know what you think about it. Whether this is their last chance of a premiership win.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's their last chance. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's the case for them because they're going to have, they're losing a few players, and yes, they'll still have the likes of Moses and Gutherson and that all there, but I think this is their biggest chance, Parramatta, and they definitely need to take it. Penrith are beatable. They are beatable. They definitely can be beaten. So, yeah, just looking through the chat here. So Jack O'Hara's saying here that Panthers are favourites. They have to play badly and beat themselves to lose. Eels have troubled them, but this is grand final day and Panthers will have the Eels worked out. Yeah, I do agree with you there on that one, Jack O'Hara. And TJC Sports, who's a Parramatta fan, Parramatta supporter, he's saying, I reckon Parramatta can do it. So, yeah, believe in your team. Definitely not writing Parramatta off. I think they're a chance.
No.
All year I have not been high on Parramatta, I'll be completely honest. I just, because of past history, I've not been, massively hyped on them. But they showed it, first week of finals, there was fear that they might go out again. They broke that fear, bet the Canberra Raiders, and they won it to Townsville in a very tough trip there. And in hot weather conditions, hostile environment, and they got the job done. So, Parramatta Eels, good luck to them. All the best to the Panthers as well. Good luck to both teams in the grand final on Sunday. Massive day there in Sydney. But hold the ball. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. Thanks for coming on the live show on the channel. Really appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. Thank you again for this awesome discussion. Daily M's right through to the NRL Finals Week 3 recap as well. It's been fun. It's been good. Again, looking forward to doing more content with you, no doubt.
Yeah, no worries. I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more together in the next couple of weeks or months with the Rugby League World Cup around the corner as well, which something me and Holdable are very excited and keen for. No doubt about it. It's going to be exciting. Yeah, so that's purely going to be our focus in terms of content on our channels from now on till Rugby League is all over for the year. And and then I'll be back into the Warriors next year, which another roller coaster that is the Warriors. But thanks everyone for tuning in and watching. Cheers, lads. This is Jack O'Hara. Thanks for watching, Jack O'Hara. Always in the chat. Very committed viewer. always watching, as he is one of our best viewers there. So thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to go and subscribe to Hold the Bulls channel and go and check out his videos and content. He does some great work there. And also subscribe to this channel as well. Subscribe to my channel. The channel did hit 1,300 subscribers last week. So on the road to the next goal is to get to 2K subscribers. Hopefully can get to that mark next year before the season starts up again. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a good night. Have a good evening. And good luck to both Penrith and Parramatta Eagles. Have a good one, everyone.
Go the Warriors.
Go the Warriors.